Good evening. Welcome to
Hello.
Instagram Live and Zoom meeting. This is
IG.
yeah, right? This is Tova Halpern. Hi, everybody that's on Instagram. So this is a nice, pleasant surprise because we posted earlier that we were going to be doing these teaching artist interviews, conversations, and that we were going to stream them live on Facebook. And I can't do it, obviously, because I'm technologically challenged, which everybody who knows me well knows that that is a truth if there is no other truth. And so now what we're going to do is we are going to stream it live on Instagram. So hello, Instagram land. Ooh, we have people. That's nice. Hello, Instagram. And we're also going to record it, and we'll be able to post it as a YouTube video later and then upload it to the Fresh Theater Arts Facebook page. So to get started, hi guys. So welcome. If you would all do me a favor, we'll go around. If you wouldn't mind just telling me your name and what specialty you teach, and then we'll get into the deeper interview and the conversation. So the boxes are all in different places, right? For all of us?
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Whoever wants to go first, which is like not what you say to your students, right? But whoever wants to go first, go ahead.
I'll go. I'm Lauren, and I teach musical theater.
Awesome. Hi, Lauren.
Hey.
I'm Lindsay. I teach ballet and yoga and drama.
Awesome. Hi, Lindsay.
And I'm Liz, and I teach music.
Hello, Liz. Thank you so much for being here, ladies. So I think to start this conversation, I want to hear a little bit about what your story is, right? Like we all kind of come to this, at least to Fresh Theater Arts, coming from all different avenues. And what I find nice about being in the position that I'm in is that I get to meet artists from all different backgrounds. And yeah, some of our stories do overlap with each other because it is such a small community, but the way that we got to where we are is usually very, very different. Which is inspiring because it's like, oh, I went this way, but I got here, and you went this way, but you also got here, which is really cool. So if you wouldn't mind spending, 5 or so minutes telling me a little bit about what your story is. And then if you could end it by saying, obviously right now you work as a teaching artist for Fresh Theater Arts, but what are the other projects that you work on, or what is your full-time job as well? So why don't we go in the order that we were in before? Lauren, would you want to start?
Of course.
Awesome.
When do you want my story to start? Like how I got into theater?
Wherever I feel like that could be a musical theater song, right? Like
I was born.
I'm going to start at my birth. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so how I got into theater is I was a dance competition kid. So if you watch Dance Moms, that was my life.
Oh.
Not super fun after a while. So I decided to start doing singing lessons and stuff. I took choir in school. We had a choir elective, which is why arts in schools is so important to me because that determined my whole life. I took choir in school and then I liked it. So I took voice lessons and then I did the musical and then I really liked doing the musical more than just dance competitions. So I started applying to theater schools and all that jazz and got into University of the Arts in Philadelphia, which is where I ended up going because I liked the city vibe. I wasn't a somebody that liked sitting on a lawn and having fraternities and sororities. I wanted to be a city kid, so it was cool. It was like New York light, I call it. So I was in Philadelphia, and University of the Arts was great, and their program is really acting focused. So we would be in all of our acting classes with the acting majors. And then we also had voice and dance and musical theater classes and all that stuff. So that's why I chose that school, because I felt like my acting needed the most work. And then I started auditioning. I was pounding the pavement. I was going to open calls with hundreds of girls at 5 a.m. and waiting in line and all that really fun stuff. That's fun when you're young, that you have to do. And my first job was summer stock, which is a great first job. If any of you guys can do a summer stock gig as your first job, I got mine from an audition called Straw Hats, which is a combined audition, and a ton of theaters all come and watch you and audition from a bunch of theaters all at once, which is a really great opportunity as well. And then I had a bunch of shows on my resume, so I just kept auditioning and working, and I was fortunate enough to work a lot as a non-union actor. Did a bunch of tours, and now I'm settled down and I'm married and I'm teaching and all that fun stuff as well. I've always loved teaching. I always did teaching as a side job as well. So that's where I am now.
Very cool.
That's my story.
I love it. It's a good story. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Okay, Lindsay.
Oh, I've always been into dance since I was about 9 years old, and it wasn't until I was a little older that I started getting really serious about it, and I started taking it more classes, and I went to summer dance programs, and then eventually, starting in high school, I actually went to a conservatory in Pennsylvania that I auditioned for like 4 or 5 consecutive summers, called Central Pennsylvania Youth Ballet, CPYB, which is amazing. It's all about classical ballet. What's great is that I studied RAD technique, which is Royal Academy of Dance. That was just like the local studio I went to in Red Bank. They were all about RAD technique, and CPYB encompassed RAD and Vaganova, which is the Russian style, and Cicchetti, the Italian style, and kind of brought all of it together, brought ballet teachers from all different walks of life, from all different companies, and different technical styles together. So that was really eye-opening for me. And they also brought in a modern dance teacher to help us ballerinas loosen up.
Cool.
And that was my first interaction with partnering classes, which was also a lot of fun.
Awesome. Very cool. And where do you, I forgot to ask you this, Lauren, before, so we'll hear from Lindsay and then bounce back to you before we get to Liz, but where are you teaching right now, obviously, other than for Fresh Theater Arts?
I teach for New Jersey Performing Arts Center and JPAC, so I just did their summer camp, their musical theater virtual summer camp, so that was really fun. I work for Vanguard Theater Company as well in Montclair. I work a bunch of places. That's the job of a teaching artist, a hustle, I always say. But yeah, I do work a bunch of places, and I love Fresh Theater Arts. They're one of my favorites. Don't tell anyone.
Thank you. We love people too. We do.
It's okay, Lauren. No one's going to see this.
Yeah, right. On Facebook, that's for sure.
Too soon.
I know, right? Are you still there? Instagram Live, people? Lindsay, and where are you working right now, other than?
So I wound up going to Goucher College. I was a dance major for a while, and then I wound up switching to English creative writing. So what I'm working now is as a teacher. I went to graduate school for early childhood education, and after touring with some ballet companies in Italy and Scotland and across the US, I wound up just kind of settling in New Jersey and being a regular teacher. I also specialize in ESL, which is English as a second language. So I work primarily with students from different backgrounds who are coming to English as their second language. And so my background in the creative and dramatic arts really lends itself well to working with young children, especially who struggle with language.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. Liz!
Tova! All right, let's see. Well, I'm young, so I can probably start like way earlier in my career than the rest of you, and I say that humbly though, because I do feel like I'm at the beginning of my career. So I grew up like just loving to perform. I didn't really care like what it was or what medium it was. Like I was in band, I was in chorus, I did theater. I was really lucky. I grew up by the growing stage, and I did shows there growing up since I was like 10. And I just always really loved like the performance aspect. I found I would say like my calling in music when I picked up the bassoon, which is my main instrument. I picked up the bassoon in 7th grade. I switched over from saxophone. And I still played saxophone, but bassoon was like this weird, strange, challenging thing that I just really absolutely loved and fell in love with. So I went to college for bassoon performance and music education. I went to the Eastman School of Music in Rochester. And as a double major there, you know, they really encouraged being a strong performer as well as a strong teacher. So with that, I was able to explore a few different avenues, and having, you know, like a theater and chorus upbringing, I always tried to find ways to like incorporate that singing and that performance into my college career and my early career. Today, I fast forward, right, like thousands of years to today. It's really like 3 years to today. I now teach elementary band. I teach 5th grade through 8th grade instrumental music in Millburn, New Jersey. And I teach marching bands this season in Verona. And I am a music teaching artist for FTA, and I absolutely love it. What I love about doing all of this is just the versatility, because as an instrumental music teacher, you use your voice a lot, but you don't use it in the same way that a singer does, or that a theater actor would. And I just love being able to just keep that alive in me, because that's such a big part of who I am. It's like not just playing bassoon, it's doing anything and everything that I can that is music.
Awesome. Terrific. So I actually, Liz, I want the next question to jump off kind of what you just said about like the skills that we learn in the classroom, like when we were students, right? And how to apply those skills into our practice. Like what skills, and I think I have it written down somewhere, but like what skills did you take from your degree, right? And then move it into your career. And maybe, you know, most of us knew that we wanted to do some sort of performing arts element. Like I also grew up and I was like, I'm a theater kid. That's it. That's all I got. I'm a theater kid, and you either get it or you don't get it. And that's it, right? But along the way, like I got a minor in English, and I worked for like a modeling and talent agency for a while as an agent, you know, and I didn't want to do that, but I needed money, you know? So it's how do you take the skills that you've learned, you know, based on your education that you have, and apply them into the career that you've chosen. And on top of that, were there skills that you didn't realize that you had learned, you know, in retrospect, that you now use while you're teaching, for example? Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Should I start?
Yeah, you could start.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. So I think something that is really important to point out from what you're asking is the fact that there are skills that you can apply from one thing you learn to anything else you learn. Especially for me in teaching music, I always say to my students, music is music is music. Especially when I have kids who sing and play in the band, or play a string instrument and do theater. You know, everything that you learn in one setting, you can apply to another one. So I think that that's really important. I mean, I was super lucky that I grew up in a place that kind of fostered that ability in me, and like was like kind of just allowed me to expand my horizons as far as I wanted to. But going into college, I think it was like narrowing your focus into getting really, really good at, for me, it was teaching instrumental music. But through teaching instrumental music, you can apply that to singing. You know, you can apply that to theater, because your voice is an instrument. You know, your acting, like your performance is still a performance, and you learn those skills when you become a teacher. But it's more of like once you narrow that that field into like the skills, and I don't even know if I'm making sense right now, to be honest. It's been a long day, Tova.
Back to school,
a long day. Yes. But but like I think just kind of to put it into one sentence, like you funnel all of your skills into becoming really good at something. So like you have a specialty, you know, for Lindsay, it's dance. For me, it's music. you know, and you can apply all of those skills to teaching the other venues of performing arts, because at the end of the day, you know, it's still a lot of discipline. It's still practice for performance. It's still building a community. It's still, you know, getting your part to fit in with the whole, you know. You could be in a band, you could be in a chorus, or you can be in a musical, and it's all the same, you know.
Team building, yes.
Absolutely.
Work together, right? And how to work together in a way where you can do conflict resolution as we're working through it, right? And still work as a team. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Liz. Oh, I'm buzzing. Oh, I'm back. Okay, we're still live. Who's next?
I guess I'll go, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So, obviously I have my theater skills. My major was theater, BFA in theater. So I obviously have those like tactical things that you're going to use as an actor when you're auditioning, like acting through song, beats, choices, if you guys know what I'm talking about, all that stuff, breaking down a song. I still use that every time I sing a song for an audition or for performance. And as far as teaching, you know, musical theater is 3 things, right? Acting, singing, and dance. So I can teach all of those things. I have the skills to teach all of those things. I've done voice coaching, so that's been really helpful to me to have, you know, all that training. I've taught dance a lot. I choreograph a lot. I choreographed in school, a couple things at college, which is where I started. Ended up getting jobs in choreographing, which is probably one of my favorite things that I do. So that's all like, you know, directly theater related skills. Dealing with rejection. This is a huge part of our lives as actors, right? We had auditions.
Up to rejection.
We're all getting rejected by 2020 right now. And that's like a really important skill. Don't take it personal, you know? And even as a dance competition kid, I was dealing with rejection all the time. So that's like been a theme in my life. No, I'm kidding. But I can deal with it very well. You don't take it personal, and you keep going. You just go to the next audition. So that was another super important skill. I think that's all I have to add for now.
Great. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. I think what's key also, and I'm like starting to see a theme here, that like, you know, you take the things that you learn, like you're a sponge, right? Like I feel like as performing arts professionals, we are a sponge, you know, and not a lot of degree. I think some degrees, it's very specific, right? Like when you become a doctor, you don't really need to know how to tap dance, you know, or maybe you do. Like maybe you're a doctor clown, which is, did I ever tell you that's what I'm going to do to retire? That's my retiring plan.
That's great.
My retirement plan. I'm going to be a medical clown. I've warned you. Okay. You got the 5 year warning. Okay. But anyways, I think what we do is we like, as we meet people, right, and as we go through life, and especially as a teaching artist where you're constantly flipping to be working for different people and being with different people and performing in different places, you know, what are the things that you can learn as you go along? And like you take them and you collect them and you put them in a little, you know, bucket or bag or whatever, you know, and then you move forward. Right? You take the things you've learned and you move forward. So yeah.
I'm always learning. Every show I do, you're working with other people. Like Liz said, it's collaborative, right? Yeah. It's the most collaborative field in the world, doing theater or anything in this field. So I always have people to learn from, always picking up new.
It's great. And I think what allows you to do that so well is the fact that you've got that like thumbs up to rejection, right? Because sometimes if you're constantly getting rejected or you're going on job interviews, you know, or whatever it is, and people are constantly saying no to you, you know, you start to feel like,
yeah.
So yeah, it's great. It was great. All right, Lindsay.
Well, what I was going to add was that with dance, you get corrected on your technique all the time. So right up there with the rejection part of it, which is also huge in dance as well, is getting corrected in your dance classes, whether you guys take jazz or tap or the hip hop or modern or the lyrical now is big. No matter which kind of dance you take, you're going to get corrections in dance. And what I had to learn when I was about 9 or 10 years old, is that getting the corrections is not a bad thing at all. It's a really, really good thing. It's a very positive thing. It means your teacher, sees something in you that's worth correcting, and, trust that you're going to use that correction in the next class and the next class and the next class, and to take that part with you as you go on in your life. So if you take classes at some other studio, maybe you'll have a little reminder in the back of your head, oh, my dance teacher told me to turn my leg out this way, to use my hip that way, put my feet that way if they don't sickle, whatever it is, that you can use. That's really important. Corrections are very positive.
I love that, Lindsay, because I think, and this is going to transition into my next question, I think that we all want to be seen, right? And so if a teacher takes the moment, like I know for me and my students, if they're watching, like, they're like, oh, she always yells at us, but it's funny, right? And it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to yell at the kid that I'm not paying attention to, right? Like, I'm yelling at the kid that I feel like, let's take this to the next level. Let's move forward together. Let's come up with something creative, right? And so as a teacher, from a selfish perspective, it's like, I see you, right? And as the kid, it's like, oh, I'm being seen. So how do I take what I've heard and like, not take it to heart almost so much, right? And apply it into my practice. And so I think that's great, because my next, and I didn't really warn you that this would be one of my questions, but as we're talking about it, I'm like, I don't know, this is important. We're now all transitioning to this Zoom land, right? And so all of these skills that we've learned, we've had to try and find a way to apply them in these boxes. And these boxes are like, I love you ladies, they're so impersonal, right? There's a space between, And so how do we make sure as artists and as teachers that we connect with our students and we make sure that they feel like they're being seen? And that they feel good about the experience that they're having, with us in this happy land, right? Over Zoom, so I'm going there. I went there.
You're talking about how do we engage with our students and like form a community, Brady Bunch style.
Yeah.
Hollywood Squares, I've also heard.
Yes.
I feel like as teachers, we have to develop a bag of tricks, and just a ton of different strategies to engage with our students and build that community. And I think what teachers tend to struggle with right now, myself included, is the fact that our go-tos for those strategies are not really the go-tos that we have on Zoom or on Google Meet or something like that. So we kind of have to think outside, oh no, pun totally intended, outside the box. That's it, guys. That's it for me. See ya. But really though, like making more opportunities for them to speak back to us, have more of a conversation instead of just having like one person talking at you because everybody else has to be on mute, like opening up the floor and just kind of retraining our brains and our students' brains to converse in this setting. I think it's different. I think it's not our default setting, definitely not what I or anybody that I know was like trained in doing. But I do think it's possible if we just like dig into our bag of tricks and like learn to develop more strategies and tricks to like help each other,
Yeah, it's great. That's great. It's great. Anybody else?
I think it's about the rapport we have with our students. So, we all are in different kinds of spaces, whether you're in a home or an apartment, or you're able to, use some other space outside to dance or do your voice lessons, whatever it is. We're all in different settings, and that's challenging as well. You might have, a large basement area you can dance around in. You might have a small apartment you can dance around in, whatever it is. So I think you need to, like, we as teachers need to make sure we have that connection with our students, and the kind of relationship with them that they can talk to us. If they don't want to talk to the whole group because they're you know, sensitive about their surroundings for whatever reason. They can, you know, email us or, you know, call us with their parents' permission, and reach out to us and know that we are there for them if they need us. That's really a big deal. And of course, we can always be a resource for them for ideas for how to make your space bigger, to push over tables, whatever it is. We can offer more suggestions to help them use their space to the best ability.
Great. Awesome. Thank you.
Can I? Sorry, go ahead. No, it's fine.
No, I just have one thing. I was just going to say I found my students are more shy in the virtual platform than in real life, which like sounds weird and like to me doesn't make sense, but I'm not on their end. I'm on the teaching end, obviously, so I don't understand it, but they do need so much more support, like you said, Lindsay. And I find that having other kids in the classroom, like in a large Zoom room, helps a lot with the confidence and with the support. And just like, you know, I feel like games. I feel like we need more games in this time. I always try to incorporate more games because it's like everybody's a little depressed, everybody's a little down. You know, everyone's like sick of being virtual, and I find that my kids get like really sick of it after a long day of all virtual. So I have to like bring my energy up to like reach through the screen to them, you know. You have to like up your energy, make it spicy, all that stuff. It's just like it's just different than in real life, you know. But
there's a whole Facebook group dedicated to theater games that work over Zoom.
Oh, I love it.
It's like a running list. It's like, oh, we could totally play Zip, Zap, Zop if all the boxes look the same on your end as it did on my end. Because then, like, Lauren is next to me, and Lindsay is below me, and Liz, you're on the diagonal. That's where it is on my end.
Yeah.
So, like, if I wanted a zip to Lauren, and Lauren was the same place that she was in all of your boxes, we could literally play Zip, Zap, Zop.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's awesome.
But no Zoom. No. Thanks, Zoom. That's awesome. Thank you for the suggestions, ladies. Liz, did you want to add something before you were going to say something, or
You know what I was going to say was exactly what Lauren said.
Awesome. How can Great. So we've got a few more minutes. We've got like 4 more minutes before we have to wrap it up. But I guess my last question is going to be, you know, if you had any advice for your students, that I think this is always the key, right? If you had any advice for your students that were interested in pursuing a career in the arts, what would it be? And the caveat that I leave in there is that somebody recently asked me this question, and I was like, is that pre-COVID? Right? Is that like, are we assuming this is gonna last a while? You know, like Broadway's kind of closed, you know, like, is that now? And they were like, well, just answer from your heart. So it got complicated in my heart. It did. It was tricky. It was hard to answer. So I'm going to throw that at you now and see what happens.
I'll start. And we have a few minutes, so I'm going to be brief, but a few things. One is, for the dancers out there, keep a book of corrections. I still, to this day, have like 50 little notebooks full of my ballet technique corrections from all the teachers. I'll just say, you know, blah, 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 turn out, you know, dash Miss Church, blah, 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 Mr. Nicole. Like, I'll just keep my notes all there so I can go back to it before class, maybe, if I have a few minutes to stretch and reread the notebook. That's really helpful. And if you're at summer intensive, maybe next summer, it also helps to take that with you and to have the new notebook for your summer intensive full of those notes. You can take that home with you after the intensive is over. As for moving forward into your career in college, I would say be patient with yourselves, because like Lauren said, rejection is a huge component of it, and it does not reflect on you personally. It's just part of life, and it's just part of the arts especially. So be patient with yourself. And also on that, I would add, no matter what you do, the skill sets you learn through the various arts, musical theater, dance, voice, you know, everything, can translate to so many other different careers, even if it seems on the surface like it has nothing to do with the other thing whatsoever, like business and dance words have to do with each other. But there are ways to combine them. There are ways to fuse them together. And even just like the dedication and loyalty and patience, the kind of invisible skill sets you learn as well, you will take that with you for sure. And you know, that discipline is huge and will translate to any and every career you choose to pursue for yourself.
Awesome. Great. That's great advice. Thank you, Lindsay.
You want to go, Liz? Go ahead.
Sure. So something I think it's really important, you know, to think of music or just pursuing anything you want as a muscle. You know, we all have muscles in our body and we all have to train those muscles to do certain things. And I say this to my beginner band students all the time too, because, you know, they're picking up an instrument for the first time. They don't know, you know, they don't even know like which side of the case is up. You know, they are starting from nothing, but everybody started from nothing. You know, that's the first thing that I always try to share with my students. Every single person who turned out to be great was at some point at the point you are right now. Paraphrasing Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix as well, but that's besides the point. Everybody gets thumbs up. Great, awesome, I love it. So that's the first thing, you know, just recognizing that like every single person that turned out to be great was at the same level that you are right now. And then the second thing I always talk about, and this is something that you can apply in, you know, a non-COVID world, in a pre-COVID world, and very much so in a post-COVID world, is just keep flexing that muscle, keep training that muscle. Whether it's playing an instrument or acting or singing or dancing, flex that muscle whenever you can. For me, for example, like I do freelance gigging on bassoon on like outside of my full-time job. And when COVID, you know, started to shut everything down, I had concerts canceled, I had gigs canceled, and I had to find other ways to flex my bassoon muscle, basically. So I took out old method books. I took out old etude books and I practiced that. I did, you know, fun little arrangements. I did a 4-part bassoon arrangement of like Cake by the Ocean, just like whatever I was thinking at the time, I decided to do that, you know? And I think that that's a really important thing to keep in mind, especially if you really like what you do. It shouldn't feel like work to do that, but definitely find any opportunity that you can to flex those muscles if that's something that you want to develop.
That's great. Thank you for the advice. And I would like to see the video of Cake by the Ocean. Just saying. Okay. We will share it with our viewers. Did you get that, viewers? We have viewers, guys. I'm so happy. There's viewers. And it's not Lauren.
It's not just...
I'm only laughing because I'm pretty sure I'm wearing the same shirt in that video as I am right now.
Is that the Deathly Hallows shirt?
Very funny.
Maybe. It is.
I love it.
I love it.
Everybody has had such good advice so far. I have three things. I have be yourself. I have don't take no for an answer, and I have do what's right for you. This is if you're like a little auditioning musical theater performer and actor. I'm going to elaborate on those 3 things. Be yourself. I've tried to fit into many different roles going to auditions. I dress the part. I sing a song that maybe I don't really want to sing. It's not right for me because I think that that's good for the character. No one wants to see that. The casting directors want to see you, be you. They want to see what you bring to the character. They want to see how you make it different. Sing a weird pop song. I don't know, whatever you want to sing. Don't try to like fit yourself into the box of this character. End of that. What was my other one? Don't take no. Don't take no for an answer. In college, my senior thesis character, I wanted to do Belle from Beauty and the Beast. And my teacher said, you will never play Belle. You're not allowed to do Belle. When the Beauty and the Beast national tour came to audition, I went to the audition. I got cut. A couple months later, they auditioned again because these tours keep going. I got it. I got the understudy for Belle, and I played Belle 6 times on tour. So, don't take no for an answer. If
you make the screen clap. Can the screen clap?
I know. You can do those like emojis in the corner.
There's the
Yeah, she's got it.
Go to
yeah.
reactions.
All right.
Go to
What Liz
reactions
said.
Oh, I see.
and the claps. There we go. You could also do a thumbs up.
Thanks, claps.
I'm doing a completely different panel on tech one day.
Yeah, don't take no. And do what's right for you. That was my other one. Do what's right for you. If you take a contract, you take it because you want to do it. Sometimes you have people tell you not to do it for whatever reason, for your moving forward your career, if your agent doesn't want you to take a cruise ship because you're going to be out of town. This is like when you're a profesh by this point, but do it. I got a cruise ship. I took it. Best thing I ever did. Okay, so live your life. Do what makes you happy. Be yourself. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. I think
Beautiful.
that's a great place to end. Live your life. We got to put that on a t-shirt. What was it? Live your life.
Do what makes you
yourself.
happy. Be you. Yep.
Love it. Done. Thank you. Ladies, is there anything else you wanna share before we go? This was so much fun. Can we meet again next week? Let's Zumba.
If I could just add one thing to what Lauren said, which I think was absolutely beautiful, and especially the story where you talked about auditioning and not getting it, and then auditioning again and later getting it. There are so many friends and colleagues that I have, and myself included, that were rejected the first time. I mean, like outright rejected, and rose to the occasion and did better, or just wound up at the right place at the right time. And I think with auditions, especially because you have to take them, right? Like you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott. But also, yeah, but also, like, the best piece of advice that I ever got about auditions is that when you go there, there's always going to be somebody that's better than you, and there's always going to be somebody that you are better than. And it doesn't matter how the actual audition turns out. What you need to consider as success when you audition is whether or not you gave every single thing that you could, whether or not you feel like you played your best, or you performed your best, or you danced your best. Like, I think that that's so important, because a lot of times people go into an audition thinking that they go into an audition thinking that to earn a certain role or to earn a certain spot is success, but that's not what success is. Yeah. Success is going out and actually performing the very best you can, and let the cards fall where they may.
Yeah. It's out of your hands. Yeah. Totally.
If I can pop onto that really quick.
Yeah.
Just 100% to both of you, like 100%. There are so many roles that are intended for certain heights, for example, or certain things are looking for, so it's hard, when you go to audition and you think, oh my God, I'm the worst one here, and regardless of where you are compared to the other people, try your best to not think about that. Try your best to just focus on the task at hand. Every audition is an experience. I auditioned for Giselle and Don Quixote, different companies, and there were so many I didn't get, both as a teenager and as an adult, and it was hard, but you keep on plugging, you keep on pushing yourself and pushing forward, and then you get to be in Giselle, and you get to do all these wonderful parts that you never thought you could. So don't give up on yourself and keep pushing.
That's
100%.
That's great. Thank you. Especially now in the time of Corona. Who's going to write the musical about Corona? I think it's going to be like the Mormon.
There's already that TV show with, what's his name from Hamilton, right?
Yeah. Who doesn't look
right,
like
yeah. I heard about that.
Is. He doesn't look like himself.
I know.
Yeah. It's fun.
Love in the time.
All right, ladies, thank you so much for taking the time to be here and have this conversation with me, and for, managing my troubleshooting issues with Facebook Live. I will figure it out. Instagram people, if you're still there. Oh, we still have people. Is it you? Lauren, is it you and Liz that are on Instagram?
Is Broadway Mama? I see Broadway Mama.
No, that's Nicole. Hi, Nicole.
I saw a growing stage before. I don't know. I don't know if they're still there.
We can go back and look. Oh, we had a lot of people and they talked to us really fast. I'll tell you who they are. Okay. We had Just That Capricorn, Andrew, Javi Goldstein, Jeffrey Salone, Liz. I see you.
I wanted to see what it looked like.
Okay. Oh, and all these people said hi, Lauren. Okay.
Still there.
Kira, Theo, Andrew. He says, call your tech dude. Oh, you know, I forget my students sometimes. They could probably help me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and now that's recorded. Okay. We have Tassila. We have Jen Sig, Yojojo, Liz Pogak. George,
That's my fam.
is that a person for you? Yeah?
That's all my fam. Hey guys.
Yay, I love your family. Yeah.
Thanks for answering my text message. The group chat.
Raina, the foodie fanatic, Montan, Nicole. Guys, we have a lot of people here. Broadway Mike, public bathroom enthusiast. Who
That's another one of my favorites.
Oh, good.
That's another one of my favorites.
Oh, good. Very good. Okay, we got a hi, Liz, Krista, Carla.
That's great.
The growing stage. Javi Goldstein said, these are interesting stories. Max, Seven Sipper. Who does that belong to? Seven Sipper?
I don't know.
Kate Gilby. Somebody said, Tova, how many times have you yelled at us? That's great. Broadway. Oh, and my contractor. That's great. Guys, we had so many people. Did you count all those people? Oh my God.
That's awesome. I love it.
So thank you. Again, thank you for being with me, and thank you, followers, for being with us. And what I'm going to do is when we're done, I will upload this to YouTube, and then we can share it with people, because you guys had great advice, and thank you for sharing your journeys with us. And I hope to speak to you all again soon. Let's stay
Absolutely.
connected, and
That would be great.
keep sending your work stuff as we meet in the boxes. Okay.
There you go.
Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you,
So
Tova.
much.
Bye, Tova. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.